if you're not motivated and you still want to achieve your goals, this is what you should do. So the first thing we need to understand before we even talk about anything is, what is motivation? Like, what does it mean to be motivated, basically? So motivation basically is like a desire, like a feeling. So for example, when you have motivation, you feel like doing something. So the more motivated you are, the more likely you are to take action, whatever thing you feel like doing. So for example, all those 3 a.m. when you wake up 3 a.m. or you're up 3 a.m. I watched some video of some young guy that bought some fancy car at a young age. You feel motivated to go and make this is supposed to be a car, but you feel motivated to go and make money. Or when you maybe you see one of your friends you haven't seen in a long time, and you see the guy's physique, and now the guy is jacked. Maybe the guy used to be skinny before. You see him like recently and you're shocked, like, wow, you really had a transformation. The guy is jacked. You feel motivation, like the desire is there. And the thing is that motivation is a good thing, because when you feel motivated, you are very likely to take action, like instantly. Like if you see this your friend, for example, you see 6 packs, he looks good shape, and you're like, wow, this guy that used to be very, very skinny, all of a sudden you have 6 packs and all that. Like you're a lot more likely to take action on working out. You're a lot more likely to take your stuff seriously. So motivation basically is like a good feeling, basically. So it is like a smiley face. So when you feel good, you feel like doing the action, even though the action might be stressful, even though the action might be strenuous, might be hard, but you do feel like doing it. So on the other hand, the opposite is what happens when there is no motivation. So there's X, like it's supposed to be like X cancelled. So no motivation. So basically you don't feel good. There's you. The thing with motivation is that it doesn't last long. It's basically a feeling. Just like all your feelings, they basically don't last long. Like it's very temporary. So right now, I might feel happy. I might feel very joyous. I might feel excited. I might feel happy. But the moment I go out, ask me back in another maybe 1 or 2 hours, I might feel neutral. I might just feel numb. I don't really feel anything. Ask me again another hour, I might feel angry. Ask me another hour, I might feel sad. So your emotions are basically like fluctuating a lot. It's not stable. And motivation is basically, will I say, an emotion. It's like a feeling, like desire. So the problem with this motivation is like it's not very reliable. Like when it is there, you can do a lot. You can really work very hard to get the physique or make the money or whatever thing you're trying to pursue. But when there is no motivation, it now becomes very difficult, because normally to build the muscle is stressful. It's like it's painful. Like it's hard work normally. So the day that there is now no motivation, you are just left with this pain. Like it's almost like when there is motivation, this pain is like masqueraded by the motivation. Like you don't feel it as much. But the day this is not there, like the X, all you feel is this pain. So it is very difficult to like want to actually do what you want to do, and then you just end up like procrastinating and not doing what you're supposed to do. Then before you know it, few days, few weeks, few months has passed by. Then you watch another video, you see your friend again, or whatever the motivation. So it's like just this messy cycle where if you just rely just on this, you probably will not go that far. So the problem with us, a lot of us, is like we're not this motivated. We're usually only motivated at the beginning of whatever thing we're trying to pursue. So you want to start making money, for example, and you learn all these business models, you watch all these online gurus. You're really excited about the idea. So the motivation is only at that beginning phase. But once you actually start to go deeper and deeper into the like business model or the hustle or whatever thing you're trying to do, that motivation will die out, because all that is left now is the pain, like it's reality. And if we're just waiting for this motivation to come again, the next thing you do is instead of just sticking to this business model, you're going to start another one, because you want to feel that same motivation, that same feeling. But inevitably, the same thing is going to always happen. So it's like, how can we basically make progress without having to always rely on this motivation? And usually everybody will just say discipline, like, oh, just turn your brain off and go and do the thing, which that is also a way, but that also is not very sustainable, because like I said, all you're left with is this pain. And depending on your level of discipline, depending on how disciplined you are, how much you have trained yourself in the past, that's what will determine if you're able to push past this pain. And let's be honest, 99% of us are not like David Goggins level. Like you're just not at that level. So it becomes very difficult to stick with this thing because all you feel now is just pain. And another thing with a lot of these habits is that, like, so for example, wanting to get the money or wanting to get the muscle or whatever, it's like the reward comes later. Oh god, the reward comes later. It's not instant. Unlike, you know, if you like eat junk food or if you're gonna scroll on social media, the dopamine hit is fast, it's instant, you get it right away. But with like making money or getting the muscle or whatever, it takes months, takes years in some cases to actually to start to see the fruits of your labor. So basically all you feel is pain. You just feel pain. So how do you like push through pain? How do you like make progress? Because if we're relying on this motivation, which is basically what everybody does, and which can explain why almost nobody achieves all these things, even though like basically everybody wants to have a fancy car, everybody wants to have 6 packs, everybody wants to make money or whatever, is because they are just solely relying on this. And you know, those of us that will say, oh, we just use discipline, we're not as disciplined as we should be. So how do you now make progress from all this? It seems that we are going to use the two for what we want to do. We're not just going to rely on just the motivation or just the discipline. We're going to use basically both of them combined. And how do you do that? It's basically progressive overload. That's literally what it is. So what progressive overload means is you start little by little. Where's my brush? So for example, like when you have motivation, let's use push-ups for example. So when you have motivation, let's assume you can do 100 push-ups for example, just like. But when there's no motivation, basically you will not do 100. In fact, when there's no motivation, you will do 0. But the problem with waiting for motivation is like, is very inconsistent. Maybe in an entire week you might only feel like doing push-ups maybe just one day, maybe on Saturday when you wake up and you feel really good or whatever, and that's not a reliable system. Or it might even be maybe once every month, once in 2 weeks, whatever. What we want to do instead is, instead of relying on the motivation alone, we want to also add the discipline. But like I said, if you just say, okay, just discipline, you're going to do the 100 every day, when this motivation is not there, all you are left with is the pain. So to basically wake up and put yourself through pain is not this fun. So what we do with progressive overload, simple summary, is like you start little by little. So you give yourself maybe, let's say, 5 push-ups or 10 push-ups for example, which isn't as painful. Like the pain is very less. But the thing also is like this will build the motivation, because when you do 10 push-ups, you're going to feel good. It brings out the feel good feeling. When you just do 5, it's not too hard that I don't want to start, so you start, and it's not too little that you don't feel any form of like feel good. So basically you feel better and you want to do more. So from 5 you do 10, from 10 you do 15, from 15 you do 30, and so on and so forth. So basically, like if you're not motivated, this is like the best thing you can do. If you're trying to force yourself to like do the 100 at a go, it might not always work out. But when you start little by little and you overload, that's like the keyword here, you upgrade, like it's easy to make progress and move forward. So basically that's how you make, like that's literally the secret to it all. To just rely on this motivation alone is not reliable at all, and to just want to rely on discipline is not also reliable. So you have to mix both of them together, which is like you start little by little and you progressively overload with time.
By the way, if you're in a rut now and you're finding it difficult to get back on your feet and get back in the grind and get back to the flow of things, I've actually created a program that is going to help you do just that. If you're interested in that, if this is a problem you're facing and you actually need a solution, just click the first link in the description of this video.